Hi guys, so I was doing a video on how to bridge Vikings Bay, and I was doing that because I was kind of tired of walking my way around, and I also know this can be something that's a bit finicky to do, and I thought it might be useful for people. But as I was sort of building the superstructure on the outside to make it look pretty, I realised that I hadn't built it as efficiently as I could, so I was using more than I needed to because that's how I wanted to do it. And I wanted to redo the video in a way that actually was going to use fewer resources that would enable people to sort of like, just sort of make the bare minimum they needed, and then they could bulk it out if they wanted to. The other thing that I realized that I didn't mention in there is that there are other ways to build bridges. So what I've done over here is I've built a demonstration of that. Now, as you can see there, is this uses pillars like this over here to support the top, but as you can see, there's absolutely no support on the underside, and that is how a bridge would work if you were doing it in this situation here. Is you would take the pillars down so you can reach the bottom, then underneath the water you would build foundations or pillars all the way along, and that would make it think it's a complete building. Just like if you're actually building something with walls on the outside, you can have that sort of a large gap underneath that doesn't need to be supported. The reason I didn't do it this way is this is incredibly glitchy when you're not doing it on a flat surface. You can't get pillars, sorry, you can't get foundations to snap with the standard parts up and down. So then you have to play around with pillars and then, and you can make pillars think that it's, the floor foundation. But I have found that it is the most glitchy thing in the world. I mean, seriously, the amount of times that it would look completely fine and then it would just randomly break for some reason. And I've logged on in the past and it's been fine. Yay, great, that's working. Log on, there's bits missing. So that is a really glitchy, finicky way, and it doesn't always work, and that's why I didn't want to do a video like that. But I just wanted to show that you can actually build a bridge structure just by making it think it's just basically an open air building, essentially. So what you could do is build the pillars down. Also, the reason I want to redo the video is the gaps between these. Like I said, I wasn't using as much. I was using far too many resources than I need to. The gaps between these are nowhere near as wide as they could be. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go somewhere and I'm going to go into God mode and I'm going to build one like with the bare minimum of what you need. One last thing I wanted to say before I actually went over and built this was that I built this out of standard parts. Now, one of the things with those standard parts is it's very hard to get a pillar to snap to the underside of a ceiling, and then you also can't get these ceilings to snap on top of foundations. So the way you need to go about it is you build the pillars sticking a little bit out of the ceiling, you build the ceiling along just to get it all connected, and then you actually destroy that and you put the flat level of whatever building material you want over the top of it, and that also allows you to snap foundations to the underside of it. So you are going to be using a material that you're going to destroy afterwards, and then make sure you are doing this with something like wood or stone for anything you want to destroy, because obviously that's the easiest to collect. You don't want to be destroying metal. I'm sure that was, a no-brainer there. Right, so I'm going to go over here and I'm going to spawn in the materials that I need, and I'm just going to do a demonstration of how you would do this with as few pillars as possible. Right, so I'm going to build a bridge from there across to there. An important thing to note here is you always want to build from the highest side to the lowest side. You don't have to, but that just makes life a lot easier if you're doing it that way. So let me go and spawn in the stuff that I need. Okay, so anything that I build out of stone is going to be destroyed at the end. This is the highest point. I don't know how well it's going to work here to actually replace the foundations. So we might not be able to replace all the foundations, but you do always want to have them as flat as possible. But this looks okay here. So you want to first of all line up, say, your central foundation. So we want that going across there. Right, so that's where that is the direction the bridge is going to go. Now I'm going to put out 3 more foundations here if I can. There we go. Now also remember that when you actually replace these foundations, they are going to be a fraction higher. So I think they should snap there. We'll find out. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put out 2 ceilings in every direction. Like this. Now as you can see, it can be a bit of not... Ooh, I didn't mean to do that. Here we go. As you can see, you can't get ceilings to snap on top of there. It's really finicky. Plus, as well, especially if you're on an RG. So obviously, I did that original one, completely legitimate. And on an RG, it is very hard to get pillars to snap properly to the underside. It's actually easier to do what I'm going to do here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build 3 sets of pillars, or metal pillars, that are going to go from these down to the ground. So I need to go into fly mode. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to just grab this metal pillar, and you want it to snap like this. Now I've got my rifle out so you can see where my cursor is pointed, and that's how you want it to snap. You want those little bits sticking out at the top there. So we're going to just do that with this, like that. Oh, now you also find that sometimes they won't snap. You kind of have to turn your cursor to the side. Now you take these down to the point where they're actually touching the ground, and I can't really put them out anymore. So that should be it. Yep, can't put that out anymore. Right, do that with these. Nope, I can't do that one. So that one's snapped in there, and now I need to do that with. Wow, that's annoying. Right, let's do that. Oh wow. So what you're also going to find is sometimes they do this. You have to be careful. If you find that happens, I often find it's like putting your cursor to the side actually gets it to snap in. Good old RK. Right, okay, so we want these to snap all the way down to the ground, and I think this one might go all the way down. Right, there we go. Right. Now that's our first set of pillars that are actually going to be there. Now at this point, what we're going to do is we want to get the biggest possible gap between them. And so what I'm going to show you here is that we can't build pillars out more than 2. And because I've done this 3 wide, I need to actually have pillars in every place, because I want to get the maximum gap between them. I need to have a pillar supporting everything. So we're going to build these out too, and then what we're going to do is we're going to build a structure with stone. So we're going to build a stone there and another set of stone pillars, which will allow us to build a set of metal pillars which will support the 2 that are going to come and hang in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put out the rest of these ceilings. Right, that's those ceilings out. And now what I need to do is I need to take the stone pillars down, and we're going to be destroying those afterwards, so it doesn't matter how they snap in. So I just need to snap these stone pillars in all the way down to the point where they're touching the ground, and they will be able to support more ceilings. Now, to cut down on the amount of things you're going to have to destroy, what I'm actually only going to do is I'm only going to take 1 line of these out, and then once I've actually got the next set of pillars positioned, the next set of metal pillars, I'll build the other 2 metal pillars from that, because it will be able to support those. And that just cuts down on the amount of destroying you need to do with this stone pillars here. So I'm going to take these 2 out here, and now I'm going to have to do another set of stone pillars that are going to be destroyed. Now you do want to make sure that you have actually got them all the way to the ground. I mean, even if it's just the stone ones, you might destroy it when you do it, but just make sure they are touching the ground, because otherwise when you try and take things away, yeah, it's going to go nasty. Right, okay, so that is our stone pillars that are going to get destroyed. Now I need to build the metal pillars. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put out a ceiling here, and this stone pillar here would actually support a second ceiling. So I can now put out 2 of the metal pillars from here. Once again, just going to snap them down where I had it. There we go. Those are snapped in. Now I take them down to the ground. So this is a more effective demonstration of sometimes it looks like it's touching the ground, but it isn't. And you just need to just make sure you've got that actual touch in there. Right, now with that metal pillar in place, I can actually take out these stone pillars because that's supporting everything that it needs to. So I'm going to take out this, just going to destroy it. And I'm going to destroy this. Right, now I need to go up top. And there'll probably be 2 pillars that have actually snapped into these. So let's demolish that. Yeah, as you can see, it's sticking through there. Right, there we go. So we have now got a 4 wide gap there. And now I just need to fill in these two next set of pillars. and that is the method to actually get the pillars going across. So I'm just going to quickly do that. Now obviously, like I said, at this point here, because a pillar can support 2 foundations out, I can actually do all of the pillars now at the same time. Sometimes when you build them like I have done here, which I didn't mean to do, wasn't paying attention, it's kind of hard to build a pillar in between 2 other pillars. It just the snapping just won't work nicely. But what often you can do is actually you can use the other pillar to give you the point of snap. This one actually has been okay, but just if you have any trouble, you do what I did there. Yeah, that was what you can do. Is I'm actually aiming, as you see there, more towards the other pillar, and that's actually giving me the snap point there. Right, so now those pillars are in place. Oh, as you can see, I've spawned a load more stuff in. I can actually put these ceilings in here. Now at this point here, you could start putting the top layer on, but I would say it's probably easier to go through and sort of do it modular, do all the pillars first. So that's how you actually get the widest possible pillar. You take these out too, build some stone pillars, and you build 1 set of stone pillars out, get your first one in place, and then you can build the others off of that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to repeat this across until the point where I need to do something different when I get towards the end of there. Should only be maybe 3 or 4 of those across. Right, so I'm just going to get that done. Right, so I'm at the end here, and as you can see, it's almost touching this rock, and I should be able to take ramps down. I will check that in a second. But what I've done over here is I have just put the bare minimum of ceilings down that you would need to actually be able to construct this. So as you can see, all I've done is I've just made sure it was connected across there, across there, across there. Now the reason I've kept these ceilings in place is that when it comes to actually placing the top layer, you are going to want to be able to walk along it. But yeah, but that is the bare minimum of what you need to do. So as you can see, you don't need to fit it all the way in. You can just do it like this. Right, so these ramps should go down to here. So let's just double check. Now this is the lowest one here. So what I'm going to do is just going to snap this in. Yeah, that just about fits there. But to be honest, you know, for the sake of this video, that'll do fine. But if you ever got to a point where your bridge was ending and the point where these ramps were really hanging over the top there, what you could do is, so I'll just do it off this side here, is you could take a couple of ramps out here like that. And then what you could do is you could take some ceilings and just sort of snap them. That's the bottom of the ramp there. So we'll just snap those out. Oh, I didn't mean to do that. So the ceiling is obstructed there. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to destroy that ramp. And I'm going to build a ceiling there. Right. Luckily, I made another ramp. Woo. Put that down there. And then what you could do is you could snap. Oh, okay. There we go. You could snap a pillar down, do the same thing down, and then that would be supported, and you could put another ramp across there. So that's just if you needed to do that. So let me just demolish all this. Right, so this is now at the point where you can start putting the top layer onto it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go across to the other side. I'm going to spawn in a load of metal ceilings. I'm going to need 3 metal foundations. I'm going to need 1 more stone pillar. And yeah, that should be good. Right, so I should have all the stuff here that I need to finish this off. So what I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to destroy all of these bits of stone here. So I'm just going to get rid of these stone ceilings, because really these are just placeholders for what we want to build afterwards. Now be really careful when you're doing this, obviously. And obviously, if you were doing this and you weren't doing the God mode thing like I am here, if you're doing it properly, you might want to leave like one side in place just so you could walk across it. Alright, so that's all demolished there. So let me just get rid of the junk from my inventory so I can move. There we go. Right. So now we are going to go and put... Oh, look, we lost a couple there. That's interesting. I'm going to put... I actually end up snapping in the right place. Okay, so a couple of metal ceilings here. And then I'm going to build a stone pillar like that there. You want the bottom of your stone pillar to be where you want the bottom of this foundation you're going to place. So there we go, like that. As you can see, they are lined up on the bottom there. And now what you can do is snap a C into the top of it and you can get rid of this. And we should I'm hoping I've chosen a good spot here. We should be able to snap the other 3 foundations in. No, I can't get that foundation in. I thought that might be the case of where this is. Like I said at the start of the video, you want to build it in a fairly nice spot, but well, a nice flat spot. But yeah, that actually worked out okay. Right, now it's just a case of going down and placing all of these stones, so these metal ceilings. Now, the reason I said you want to keep one of these lines in place is you're going to want to be able to walk across here, because you can't snap them forwards, so to speak. So let me just get that one in place there. Right, let me get rid of these. Right, that's those stone ceilings gotten rid of. And I'm just going to get rid of these ones here, and then I'll demonstrate from the other side. Now that, when I was building this and you saw that there was a ceiling that dropped down, even though it was technically supported, and good God, that's a lot of glare. That is one of the reasons why I don't like doing the floating bridges, because if that happened on the floating bridge, for some reason, you can never replace them. I don't know why. It's just arc, you know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill in these here. So this one, actually, you know what, to demonstrate this, I'm going to fill in one here and one here, and probably find I can't. Oh, I can snap it there. Okay, so it's letting me snap it on this one. Sometimes, oh, no, it's not. There you go. Look, it's just not. Even though it's technically supported, it is not letting me snap it. So what you need to do is you need to have this line in place so you can go along, build this ceiling here, and snap backwards like that, as you can see. I do apologise for the glare. Right, now it's just a case of going and filling all of these in. So there's a few more metal ceilings there, and we'll just do this. As you can see, once again, I can't do that until it's actually supported backwards from this one. So pull that back. There we go. And that's why you would want this stone run still in place, because what you can do is you can take this one forwards. You can walk along here, build this. Now I'm actually technically flying right now, but oh, damn it. As you can see, that it is glitchy in a lot of ways, which is once again why I don't like doing the floating bridge. But you know, you could always, if something like that happened, you could just fly over here with an RG. There we go. Right, so I'd remove this now. Oh, it's satisfying when that happens. And now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go into walk mode and just show you how you would do this if you weren't using the God mode stuff. Right, so let's snap these in. Snapped it in the wrong place. It is often easier, I find, to actually just point forwards like that, and not actually aim at where you're doing it. It's just sort of aim in the direction you want to do it. Oh, sounds weird, I know. Right. Oh, out of ceilings. Right, so we've got this nice stone one still in place. Let's destroy this ceiling here. Place down our metal ceiling. Do the same over here. Right, now place this metal ceiling. And we can take these backwards. And we should be able to... there we go. No, it's not. Come on. Come on, be nice. Okay, well that one worked. Right, now get rid of these stone ceilings. So there you go. Even if you do find that things glitch out and drop, you still got the ability to snap from the other side, which is why you want these walkways. I was going to finish these off, and then I'll put the ramps on the end. Right, that's the surface of it done, and now just time to drop off the edge and put on the metal ramps. So, woo. Here we go. 1 and 2. Yeah, a little bit of a gap there, but this was purely for demonstration purposes. I think you should still easily be able to run up that. There we go. Yeah. Woohoo! Right. That is a done bridge. So as you can see, you can actually make you can have very few pillars in between. What, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sets of pillars to span that. And the other thing as well is that, you know that this is secure. You know that if things go foobar, like as you saw when I was destroying the ceilings, you know, sometimes you do have ceilings drop because it just doesn't register that they're supported. You can fix it, no problem. I had it happen, 4 or 5 times when I was getting rid of the stone ceilings. If you were to accidentally destroy one of these metal ceilings and a few dropped, you could still put it out. Unfortunately, when you do the sort of floating version of it, where you have no pillars in between, that makes it really difficult to fix it afterwards. It's incredibly frustrating. It's so hard to get it right. I'm not really confident about putting a video out, because I don't really want to put a video out and go, yay guys, you can do it, no pillars, and then find it being an arse. This way, what I've shown you here, you should be able to fix any problems you got. Okay guys, I hope you found that useful. I hope it's something you're going to be able to make your arc better, basically, so be able to get places, make your life easier. Hope you enjoyed the video. Catch you all soon.